This video completes the set of three videos on the topic of strategic management. Let's see how to pad out the last few bits of this and bring it to a conclusion. So we'll start with strategy identification and selection. Well, first of all, identify strategic alternatives. It should be obvious that the organization, the company, needs to identify various alternatives and then select from amongst them, select the most appropriate strategy from what's been identified as possible strategies that could be pursued. So look at the product market investment strategies. Look at the type of product that could be produced. Look at what investment would be required to bring the product to market. Look at a type of cost-benefit analysis of this. Look at the likely returns from producing the product, and look at the risk and try to make some assessment of risk associated with the market. It's always difficult when trying to deal with future sales because the future is not easily predictable and are not easily predicted. It's the case that management have to deal with a lot of unknowns and have to make decisions which are sometimes based on very little evidence. But that is the province of entrepreneurship. That's why entrepreneurs earn a profit. If they can get it right, then they will be successful. If they get it wrong, we'll probably never hear of them. But it's important to identify strategies and try to make the connection between the likely sales of a product in a market with the investment that it'll take to get the product to market. Look at the functional area strategies also. What sort of marketing will be required? What sort of distribution will be required? What sort of production? Or if it's a service, what personnel will be required? So try to look at the various requirements for satisfying the market and try to develop strategies for improving the efficiency to market, strategies for long-term growth of the market, and try to develop strategies which will promote the reputation and image of the business within the market. Look at the available assets of the business. The assets can be the buildings, the machinery, the equipment, the office layout, also the people, the skills, the competencies within the organization. And look at the synergies. Look at the ways in which these come together to produce an even greater output. If they're working individually, they can produce a certain amount, but when they're combined, they can produce a greater amount and offer more support and more interaction with each other, and also be a better platform for problem solving. So there's more continuity in production and better quality will follow. Select the strategy. Having identified it, select it. It may be one strategy amongst many, but that's the one to be selected. Then implement the operating plan. Having selected the strategy, it's important to implement it. Otherwise, it's all been an academic exercise. It's all been a waste of time, really. Unless it's acted upon, it's in the province of theory. It's in the province of surmise. It has to be operated and implemented. It has to. The operating plan has to be developed and it has to be implemented. The product should be brought to market based on the strategy that's chosen. And it's important to review the strategies, and in fact to have a constant review of various strategies and see in any way in which the current selected strategy can be amended and improved. Even while it's running, there may be opportunities to tweak its running to yield better performance. So select among strategic alternatives. Consider scenarios. Consider the worst possible scenario. Consider the best possible scenario. Consider many scenarios in between and try to work out what's the best course of action should one of these arrive. And if they arise, then how will the company cope? What techniques will they deploy? What resources will they require? Pursue a sustainable competitive advantage. Pursue a competitive advantage which is there all the time, not one which, in a sense, blasts the competitors for a short space of time, perhaps cutting price and provoking a price war, and which could be very counterproductive. It could lead to closures and bankruptcies. Instead of that, look towards more sustainable competitive advantage, ones which are based on perhaps quality and innovation and leading the market and having contacts with the market. That's sustainable, it's long run, and it's competitive. Be consistent with organizational vision and objectives. Make sure that the organizational vision and objectives are in line with the current practice. Otherwise, there's a contradiction within the company, and it will end up in conflict with itself. There should be harmony between its strategic objectives and what it's actually doing. In fact, what it's doing should be derived from the strategic objectives. It should only be doing what the strategic objectives indicated were required. But ensure that the tasks are feasible. Don't set tasks that can't be achieved. That'll lead to frustration and annoyance. Frustration, as I said, can lead to people leaving the company. It can lead to a waste of time and resources. Frustration is a big cost in companies. So ensure feasibility and that therefore personnel dedicated to a particular task know that the task can be done. Consider the relationship to other firm strategies. Look at the other companies in the market and look at their strategies and look at the own strategy, the strategy produced by or being followed by the organization itself, and see to what extent they coincide, they're different, which one's more effective, and also learn from the competitors. Watch what they're doing and observe areas where they're successful, because that's an indication of changes that could be brought about within the company itself. Do an environmental analysis. Now, there are many videos on the course on this. We've PEST, Porter's 5 Forces, strengths and weakness analysis, value chain analysis. There are various videos speckled around the course on these, and I'm not going to go into them here. But do an environmental analysis. Just look at the external factors that impinge upon the business and try to develop strategies to deal with ones which are have negative effects, which are dangerous, and also try to promote ones which can help the business. Sometimes there can be positive forces in the environment. Not everything is negative. The external environment analysis, well, this can be done in 3 steps. Analyze the macro environment, the various influences in the macro environment that impinge upon the organization. By the macro environment, I mean the one which is outside of the organization, outside of the market in which it operates. This could be related to government policy, it could be related to international trade, it could be related to technological change in the society, the process of technological change and innovation. So look at the analysis, analyze the environment in which the company is based and try to work out what the company can use which will increase its chances of being more effective in the marketplace. but also examine the competitive, if you like, the micro environment the organization operates in. Look at the market in which it operates. That's micro. Look at the competitors. Look at their pricing strategies, their advertising, their marketing efforts, their innovations, their various policies that they're pursuing, and try to work out from an analysis, a micro-analysis of the market, what is the best way forward. And undertake specific competitive analysis. Don't undertake general, wide-scale competitive analysis. Try to look at particular policies, very specific policies that the competitors are deploying, are using, and try to work out how effective they are and to what extent the company should adopt similar policies. Now, benefits derived from environment analysis. Well, awareness of environment changes by management. So awareness of environmental changes is important. Management should be aware of what's going on in the environment. Management should be aware of trends in society, fashions, lifestyle changes, changes in legislation that impact on the business, health and safety issues, quality issues. Look at the way in which customers deal with each other and the way the information about products is disseminated through social media, through forums and so on. So it's important that the management is aware of the environmental changes that are taking place. It's enhanced ability to anticipate problems arising in the long run. If they're aware of the environmental changes and what's happening, they have a better chance of anticipating problems and dealing with the problems even before they arise. So they're dealing with potential problems rather than actual problems. So they can act in advance of the changes. If they're aware of what's happening in the wider environment, if they're careful to study what is happening and look at their product in relationship to the processes within the society, then they may be able to act in advance of changes, of future changes, and hence lead the market. Have products ready and waiting so that when the environment changes, they're going to be the market leader. They were the ones who are prepared for this. Do industry and market analysis. Quantity of market and product forecasts improved. Look at the quality of the market, not the quantity. Look at the quality of the market and look at the product forecasts. The quality of the market and product forecasts are difficult to assess. Statisticians have a problem in trying to work out whether data is reliable. Data could be biased. Hence, conclusions from statistical analysis may be biased, may be misleading. Look at the quality of the forecast. Look at trends. Trends don't necessarily go on forever. Trends may fall off. But it may be impossible to predict where exactly the trend will end. So look at what statisticians are saying. Look at what econometricians are saying. Look at the various pundits in the market, the experts who study the market, and look at their pronouncements and what they're writing about the market. And out of all of this, try to get a feeling for the direction in which the market's moving. Try to identify changes in buyer behavior. It may be that the buyers have more disposable income and are looking for better quality, or the buyers are looking for something more high-tech, or the buyers are just simply switching their lifestyles away from this product completely and they want to have something completely different. But just try to work out what the buyer behavior is and how sensitive are the buyers to price, image, reputation of the business, quality, after sales contact. Um, Try to work out the type of buyer that the company is in a sense in contact with. They're in contact with through the market. Ability to identify future needs is very difficult because future needs are in the future and the future is not very predictable. And customers change a lot over time. Our lifestyles have changed immensely in the last probably 20 years. The products that we demand now are radically different to the products that were demanded by your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents. And this is a trend that's likely to continue. So it's very difficult for companies to predict future needs. And yet we depend on the companies supplying the products. We need the companies to supply the products that we need. We need the companies to supply our needs. But the companies may not be around if our needs change. So we're relying on perhaps new companies coming into existence or existing companies switching to produce new products. So strategic planning and decision making. Well, more flexibility in planning is required. The idea of drawing up a plan and it becomes an immutable document, a document which will apply for a long period of time, that period has long gone. We live in a much more dynamic economy. The world is more integrated. We have more knowledge about different parts of the world and the requirements in different parts of the world and the type of customers that exist in different parts of the world. So plans must be flexible. So during the planning phase, management needs to build in opportunities to modify the plan as and when required. So it should have a much broader perspective. It should look at not just the market that's been focused upon, but should also look at wider possibilities which may arise in the future. Try to allocate resources in a way that will enable the organization to reconfigure those resources should it be required in the future. They are not allocating the resources in a once and for all way, so that if the market does change, they'll find that their particular configuration of resources are inappropriate or wrong for the market, and in that case they are facing bankruptcy or closure. It's far better to have the resources configured in a way that will enable them to reconfigure the resources should the need arise. Diversification and resource allocation, well, the ability to focus resources in business areas that have long-term attractiveness. So it's the ability to look at the resources that are available within the business and then try to configure these in a way that meets customer requirements currently. But I've also got the ability, as I said earlier, to be modified or tweaked or readjusted in line with future customer requirements should the requirements change, as they are very likely to do. We live in a world in which we like modernity, we like change, we like different products, and to that end companies should build in, as far as possible, flexibility into their planning procedures. It could be that the requirements to have flexibility will lead to acquisition and mergers and collaboration between companies in the future, because perhaps some companies can partially complete the requirements of the market and other companies are required to complete it fully and to work together. So in order to cope with the uncertainty of ever-changing markets, companies may collaborate. and it may lead to a more cooperative economic environment. This is not necessarily to the advantage of the customer, because generally speaking we need competition to force prices down and to bring about efficiency in the use of resources within industry. But it may be the case that companies are forced to have some sort of agreements between themselves, or come to some sort of understanding because of the uncertainty in the marketplace. The uncertainty with changing patterns of consumption, with different tastes, with different influences coming at the customer, in a sense, through social media and through television and so on. So it may be there is more collaboration amongst producers. Product market growth directions. Well, here's a model that we are familiar with. It's been covered in, again, several videos. But we can imagine present products, new products, present markets, new markets, and then we have, under present products, we have market penetration and market expansion. With new markets, we have the expansion. Present products into new markets. That's expanding the market. So it may be that a company has a set of products domestically, and it launches those products in an international market, in a different country. That's expansion, new markets. It could be that it tries to make more of the existing products within the present markets, and it's called market penetration. You'll recognize this as the Ansoff matrix, which is, as I said, the subject matter of other videos. But with new products in present markets, then we have product expansion. It's new products, so it's expanding the market. And new products into new markets, well, that's total diversification. Now, I'm not going to go through the Ansoff matrix. As I said, it's the subject matter of several videos in the course, so try to look those up and cover that area yourself. So this concludes our talk on strategic management. What we've done in these 3 videos is to look at a lot of points related to the development of strategy, the implementation of strategy, the revision of strategy and the modification of strategy, flexibility that's required, and the constant process for the need for effective planning. So it's an important set of videos. They do affect businesses, and in fact all businesses. The approach taken by different size businesses to this will vary depending on the resources they have got at their disposal and the amount of effort that they consider justified in the context of the size of their market. But strategic planning is important because it gives the organization a sense of direction, it gives it a purpose, and it gives the management and the workers something to aim at. And for that reason alone, it's important. But it's wise to go back over these 3 videos. There are a lot of individual points that need to be taken out and considered and organized. So get your notes sorted in the context of the 3 videos. Make good lists of notes and make points associated with each of the points mentioned in the videos. But that's all we're going to deal with now, so let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.